So I was saying that even when that character was introduced, of course, I thought that the storyline that will proceed would be a little lengthier. I won't say that the one that was there wasn't significant, but definitely lengthier. But I mean, it was like that character was a plot prop. It didn't have. I mean, in itself, it had no story that was depicted outrightly. Just it was like a plot prop to prove a point, which was, to be very honest, I think proven very well. But if there's this very quick moment, brief moment, where when the character comes to us, like it's visible to the audience twice before we see that she's pregnant now, right? And when Puro sees her around, like she's and she helps her whenever she can in terms of food and anything. And when Puro sees her that she's pregnant now, she says this thing that she has this brief dialogue which says "ek aur pinjar," which means another skeleton.
Yeah.
I mean, very in your face.
Yes. Sorry for interrupting, because you guys already mentioned that in the film they like they just use this word for cage, for in the film they used pinjar for cage, for representing cage. I think so, because even subtitle there was cage. That's why I thought pinjar means cage, and then
I don't remember that happening.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, continue. Continue.
Yeah, that's it. Like in the film, when she was when she was mentioning pinjar, okay, there's a subtitle which says cage, So I thought that it was pinjar means cage, and then I searched it in Google.
The first time when the word pinjar comes in the song or something is when Urmila is abducted. When he's caged in that farm of. So both meanings,
Right. So so I think that that particular moment kind of just, of course, in the novel it would have been this very impactful moment for the reader, because just kind of establishes what's like just the subtext, right? In the film it was a little more in your face. I mean, because the metaphor for this is that mentally stable or not, Hindu or Muslim, rich or poor, at the end, they're just bodies. They're just
humans.
They're just like this combination of meat and bones and everything that's just out there for, So that's something about Pagli's character.
And when I said about the unwanted support thing, if you remember the brother character, when his character is introduced, a police guy, constable, who's like, he calls him Mama or something, but he follows him, like he runs from him. But then I thought that the constable should come afterwards. So what is that scene exactly establishing? The playfulness of that brother character, or what? Like just one dialogue is important in that scene where he says, "Don't work for British, say Jai Hind or Inqilab Zindabad" or something. Then So only that one dialogue. For that one dialogue, they like kept that scene, I guess.
These little things.
Because that's also a thing, because Indians were the ones who were working for British in all departments, especially the police department.
And the thing is, like you mentioned police, right? When he was making complaint about her sister's abscond, and they were like, okay, we'll take care, we'll just search for her, we don't worry, go. And they didn't say you don't worry, they'll be okay, we'll carry on. And then when this man, like Rashid's paddies set fire, like the paddies burned, and they were like, "Who did this? Come on, just tell us." Hey, you're feeling, you're feeling so empathetic for
like
a
lot of
paddy, not for a
characters were
girl.
caricaturish.
Yeah, this is. I was like,
Like even if you say the establishing of in the establishment, the brother sister bond or father daughter bond, that's like a typical like he gives money because it's his daughter, or then like too much playfulness. I don't like that, especially I don't expect that from a 2003 film. I think that was like could have been done in a different way because the story is something else. And, yeah.
But I think this is how they used to be. This is how that time used to be, I guess so. And also, like, how can you feel so empathetic for a baddie feel and not for a girl is absconding? Like, this is so stupid. Yeah. Like, I feel so irritated when I'm watching this film for most of the scene. Like, and it's not the problem of the film again. It's a problem of that bloody society.
Era. Because women were commodities according to this era, what they have depicted. So she doesn't have a say. She will be married. She can be abducted. She can be sold, raped, anything. Yeah.
There are these
they don't have to
moments
feel
in the
pity
film.
and all. They have to be. They have to. They don't have to feel pity, and they have to help. They have to help. Then they have to do the sacrifice and all. Just be normal, man. That is enough. But they are not even doing it. Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine. I was thinking there are these moments in the film which basically try to establish the social and the political advances that are happening side by side. Because this film is not a social political commentary or a social commentary on religion for that matter. It's about gender politics that were so brutal at that time, right? But so the fact that Purva's brother, Trilok, works for the Union Congress, right? So I remember there is one line that is there, which I really like. It is one of the workers of Purva's father, or I think colleague, someone who talks about, that, Gandhi's procession is here. Do you know Gandhiji looks like this in real life? So, like in movies, in pictures, he looks like these. Looks like this, but in real life,
he doesn't wear a shirt and he has a dhoti which is covering till the knee only. And there's another scene where in that campaign, the political campaign, one person says that we shouldn't allow partition. For centuries, Hindus and Muslims were together. We should stand up against this. Yeah.
Exactly. So, Purva's brother is that worker. So, these things have been tried to establish in the plot line. And I am not saying that they have been very well established, but on the face of it, they did their work. Like you could see on the political front in little moments, these are the advances. It didn't delve deeper into the entire, the British do this, the Indian government is doing this, and etc. etc. So, I think all these elements, they just added to the authenticity that I was talking about the depiction, the physical depiction of that time and the occurrences of that time. And, also the fact that Purva's family, they were in that area of Punjab, which after the partition fell in Pakistan. So okay, in movies we know that Amritsar and Lahore, when India was not the partition didn't happen, Amritsar and Lahore are not very far from each other, right? So Amritsar, Lahore, Karachi, these Faisalabad, these are the places which are still seen or heard in partition literature or movies. But so they mentioned Ratowal, they mentioned Chatwani, where these people went, where they shifted, and all these, and now these places they just, there's one line is drawn, and now they're a complete different country altogether. And then the moments of the speech, people of both the religions, all religions giving the speeches, and the conversation that Trilok has with his colleagues about, I remember this one line that, because it was this time where the common people were the worst sufferers, according to me. Okay, because be it the Indian government, be it the Britishers, they did not face the brunt of it in their face. It was the common people who were killed, right? And in fact, a lot of it was so a lot of it was so much about local power play, because there were these. I read about it now that there were these groups which would, wherever a riot was happening during the partition, these groups, they would basically charge money from parties, and if a Hindu party was to be killed, they would dress up as Muslims and go over join that riot. If a Muslim party was to be killed, they would dress up as Hindus, and by dressing up, I mean putting up that cap or wearing that thread, things like these. They would dress up as Hindus and then go kill that Muslim party. So it was a time of total chaos, like madness, and the fact that partition was the single largest migration that happened in the world in the 20th century. Like the number of people that migrated in those years, like in the entire 20th century, highest number. So I mean, very sad and very, very brutal. And in that, the fact that it was established through a conversation that Trilok had with a friend of his, that he was asking that, do you think that partition will actually happen? Because people don't have a clue. It's not official. It's just in the talks. And even as it was in the talks, local officials already started sending out parties to convince locals to, listen, you're a Muslim, go to that side, this is not safe. Oh, listen, you're a Hindu, go to that side, this is not safe. So the fact that at the grassroots level, it's total chaos. They don't know if it's going to happen. And then Trilok says that it won't happen if our leaders get ready to go to jail again, spend all that time and energy again into preventing partition. So I think all these little moments, not elaborated, but worked well, right? Of course, towards the end of it, they just get lost. Get lost as in they just get sidelined by the main event, wherein the partition violence is shown.
Yeah.
No, you got that scene, like the sequence where she sells the sweaters and the bed and things like that. So that is in Pakistan.
Yeah, that is in Pakistan.
Okay. Yeah, that is.
Okay, that's it.
It's not in India, that is in Pakistan.
Next.
That's in Pakistan, and so what happened is that, as I said, that people would dress up as locals, right? So search parties, they would at locals so that they could, because people would not give away the girls which they are hidden. Okay, Indians and Pakistanis, they were not giving away. The locals would not just give away girls like that. So they had to kind of investigate. And the girls, the Muslim girls which were recovered from India, there was a camp set up in these cities of Jalandhar, Amritsar, Lahore, wherein Muslim girls were to be returned and Hindu girls were to be returned, and then all that. So, in both the countries, they had camps set up in these many places, and the exchange was to happen. So when Puro and Rashid, they help Lajo, they rescue her from Pakistan. And if maybe you're getting confused because the house from where she's rescued belonged to Ramchand first.
Yeah. But, yeah. Pakistan.
Yeah. So, the fact that people who fled from their businesses, their house were taken over. People who fled from here, their houses were taken over.
She's kept in her own house.
She was kept in her own house. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So, yeah, that.
The problem is, they put just one set. And I guess one side of it was India, one side of it was Pakistan. So, when in frame, when you see, suddenly, especially if there is no proper clothes of Muslims, so you suddenly feel they're Hindus, and so there's no proper registration. Yeah.
I understand. So, I would like to know, did you talk about all this, right? Which were your favorite one or two songs and the scenes?
Yeah, songs means I go with the one song that mother used to sing. the I didn't know the name of the song, but that song is my favorite because it's very disturbing. I can't say my favorite because I'm not gonna listen to the song again because it's very disturbing for me. Yeah, yeah, because when the song plays, I was like, oh my god, I I shouldn't have born as a man. And I feel so ashamed for being born as a man. Yeah, because yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, and Scene Smith, I've already mentioned that the conversation between Trilok and Puro, that particular scene, that is not a great scene. That is not even a very impactful, very,
Great
very great
scene.
scene. Yeah,
It's a
but
great scene. Don't worry.
okay, yeah, it is one such a scene. I also the climax. Okay, I don't know whether to call it as a climax or something like the last scene of the film is really good. And yeah, there were few more. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you guys just carry on, and I'm just thinking what are the things to say. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Raj, you
I
can.
liked all the songs. I don't like. I liked all the songs, but some one song which I liked the most was a ghazal, where two Muslims sit and sing.
Yeah.
I don't know where that exactly comes in.
The
I like that
Qawwali.
song. Yeah, Kawal. Okay,
Right.
that one.
It was the one that was being sung at Dargah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, I
Yeah.
think that's the song where the miscarriage happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that song. And scene-wise, there were a lot of scenes which I said before could have been great scenes, but yeah. So that all that where Manoj reveals their family history of that revenge, and I actually the entire Urmila and Manoj, like all the scenes I liked it, but it could have been a lot.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Sorry for
And
interrupting. Yeah, like you already mentioned that that chemistry, they could have established the chemistry even more better. You have already mentioned it. I fully agree with you. Even I also felt the same. They could have, because I couldn't feel the chemistry between them. They could have established. They could have done it even more better. Yeah. So,
And even the, like I said, for me the scene of the film is the Hindu Muslim thing. Like when they ask, they Manoj goes to them and talks that why you want that child, like that scene. Yeah.
Right. This reminds me. So as I was thinking about favorite scenes, one thing that I would quickly like to say, the fact that Puro is still in love with Ramchand. We know she hates Rashid for obvious reasons, but the fact that she's still in love with Ramchand, for me, it was established quite later than what it should have been. So throughout her stay over there, for me, it was like it's not about Ramchand alone. I mean, I didn't see that there are feelings there until the song happened, and
nice. How can she even have feelings? She haven't seen that guy. She has just saw him in the back. Okay, so she didn't know his face fully. So how can she be in some love with
Yeah,
him?
she first time sees him in the farm.
Yeah, and
yeah,
in the time
much later.
Does she just know the name?
Yeah, much later, right?
Like
And
then
you
how
know
can you even
what?
say that love? Yeah, so I'm
Oh,
not
you know
convinced.
what? I just realized there's this loophole in this film. Okay, so if you remember when the wedding ceremony for Rashid and Puro is happening, that nikah is happening, and and she's asked whether or not you accept this, right? She has to say yes. I mean, according to the ritual, unless she says yes, it will not proceed, won't happen. And if you remember, she envisioned
Serial.
Ramchand's face, right? She envisioned Ramchand's face and she said yes in that,
How?
Yeah,
in that trance.
even
It's
that
like she's
also
in
happened
trance.
No
in the
logic.
parallelly, it also happened in their Trilok's wedding. Trilok is seeing Rajo as
Her sister,
Puro, yeah.
his elder sister for younger sister.
Yeah,
But that
Yeah,
he is a brother, he knows that face. But what Avneet is saying that she hasn't seen Ramchand. Right?
yeah,
She sees and feels,
exactly.
Kabul hai.
Yeah,
Yeah, she hasn't seen the face. She doesn't know what Ramchan looks like, but she envisions his face and she says yes. And later on, there's an entire sequence of her looking for Ramchan. And yeah, she did not know him. Did she know him by face?
No, because like, and one more thing is like,
No chance.
yeah,
Let's discard the film.
yeah, because
That's Puro.
her father didn't
Now-
allow her to see your husband or see your fiancé and all before marriage.
Okay,
Her father did.
if you guys remember,
Even-
there's this scene, okay, wherein Puro is standing in the field with her friends. This is immediately her alliance has been made with Ramchan, and Ramchan's passing from there, and they know it's Ramchan. Her friends go to him as well, and tell
like he's on cycle and Vanvas dialogue.
I think Puro knows his face. Ramchan didn't know Puro's face, that's for sure. But Puro did know him by face. Puro did.
We found the logic.
But seeing one time, seeing only once in a lifetime and saying that, oh my God, I'm missing. Like, what the hell is it? I'm sorry. Yeah, because like, yeah, because you're not marrying that. You're not marrying him just for you wanted to. It's because you're getting married to him just because your father wanted you to get married to him. Okay?
Even
your father's wish.
That thing is established. Like Kulbhushan character, he goes to that place, he fixes the thing, and the opposite side they say that we give and take. That's our tradition. So you for your son,
like you can convince this guy easily. If you ask anything, okay, I'll give this too. I'll give that too.
Alok Nath, my God, quintessential father character.
Thank God I cleared that loophole, otherwise it would have haunted me.
He was in makeup, I guess. He was not looking good. They needed something different. But that voice itself, like the first dialogue he utters, oh shit.
But I realized that had they established Puro's feelings for Ramchan, I know that the alliance was made by the father, and she happily accepts it, and that she was excited. I know it seems very absurd to us, but I understand where she's coming from. Okay, that's how it happened in those times, and even now in India, that's how it happens. Like girls are excited about getting married to a stranger, and like they have that this thing. Of course, the notion of wifely duties is there, but if I look at this particular relationship, I think I really like the fact that Puro had feelings for Ramchan. Like she could feel herself getting romantically drawn towards a man that she's about to marry. Okay, and even Ramchan's personality, the character of Ramchan, he's this really, he was
so-called perfect.
So-called perfect, but even if I remove the so-called, that character was not villainous in any way. Yeah. Like he wasn't selfish.
Like I've already mentioned, the villain is the era. Okay, the villain is the society. Nobody's villain. Yeah.
Right, but I really had they established Puro's feelings for Ramchan a little more consistently, then I think I would even find myself rooting for Ramchan and Puro.
Exactly.
Because I would have done that, and even though I understood, I was very affected initially when Rashid abducted Puro and everything, and even when the storyline reveals itself, and even though it was, of course, that thing about Urmila and Manoj playing these two characters, and because they are relatively more prominent actors, so they are, they tend to get your attention that way, and you tend to root for them and in a romantic pair. But there was this bitterness in their relationship. No matter how much I liked Rashid in as a person that he was, no matter how much I respected his feelings for Puro, and no matter how much I liked Puro in her resilience and everything, there was this bitterness in their relationship that I didn't root for. I was like, it doesn't sit well. I wish it did, but it doesn't sit well. That's how it was supposed to happen according to the story as well, so that's fine. But had they shown Puro's feelings for Ramchan more consistently, I would root for them. And towards the end, when Puro chose Rashid and stayed back, I felt this was this double feeling, because I was like, are you crazy? You get to go back to your family. Go. I mean, because from what I see, you are miserable here. You are not happy. Go back. You're getting the chance. Go back. Not for Ramchand, but the fact that you miss your family so much. Go. You're getting the chance. But
What the
then I
hell
also
missing that kind of a family, you know, when she already get back
In
to
a,
when she
in
already.
a in a different perspective, that's also male dominance. Like the makers, if they make end the film like she is going to India, whether she's married to Ramchand or not, that's a different thing. If they end it like that, as a like the dharam patni thing, like she's married to Rashid, whatever religion it is, she has to stay with her husband. Even that angle is like the makers can't make her that progressive that she leaves her husband and goes. Maybe that's also one of the like hidden perspectives. I would say.
I would buy that had this story not been based on the novel.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
had the story not been based on the novel by Amrita Pritam, I would have
Just
bought that.
another perspective. Just one.
Yeah, then I would have seen that perspective over there. But that's the thing, right? This double feeling that I was talking about. I was like, Puru, you are miserable here. Even I know Rashid loves you and Rashid is a good guy, but you're miserable. Nothing else counts. You are miserable here. Go back. You will not be happy. But I was also really happy that finally Rashid and Puro's relationship is kind of just like settling in that place where the bitterness is like wearing off, because Rashid did deserve it. He dearly loved Puro. He was a good man.
I have a question, okay? Because like this guy is very progressive, you know, she is very progressive, and she's also not in love with him at that point. Even in only the end, she's saying that she's conveying that I'm in love with you. Yeah, all the throughout the film, she didn't convey anything. Okay, but she's pregnant. I really didn't know why, because this guy is not this typical Indian, typical men. Okay, because then everybody typical men, but he's very progressive, and she's also not in love with him, and I really don't know how she got pregnant.
Like
I mean,
like even that like the Swagara thing, that's also like forced on women. Like even if you say like, she would not have like he didn't love her that much at that time, I would say.
Rashid.
Yeah, so just because they are married, so they would have had sex, and that's why she got pregnant. Whether she like she willingly, she didn't have willingly, obviously. So she was forced, like just like marriage and name, she would have been forced to have sex. That's why she got pregnant, and that leads to miscarriage. Yeah.
I think that's the only that's the biggest problem for me with this film, because within that
Oh,
I
it
don't
has a
have
lot
much
of
more.
problems.
Yeah, that we already mentioned.
I mean, of course, it doesn't sit well with us. But when I saw it, it didn't raise any. It didn't surprise me. It raised questions, but it didn't surprise me, because I mean, think about it. That 50-year-old woman giving birth to a child. There is no romantic angle over there that she is
That is
having
not a
sex.
different thing, because if I said something, I'll be ashamed to say something. But my mom was the ninth child in her home. Okay, when my mom was born, her elder sister, like the first daughter of the home, got married. Okay, there's a 30 years difference between my mom and her sister. So that's not a different thing for me, because I can relate to something that
No,
thing.
I totally get
Yeah.
what you're saying, but for me, what it says is that having sex in a marriage at that time, and even today in a lot of arranged marriages setup, it's a very organic thing. I
But I
mean,
hope.
it doesn't become about companionship or anything. It's something organic that has to happen. So even when Puru got, I mean, I for given Rashid's character, I don't it didn't even occur to me once that he would have forced himself on Puru. You know, I mean, it was a very childbearing was this one thing that was supposed to happen in a marriage
Yeah,
for.
because of that miscarriage, and then the mentally retarded character, and then this dialogue of Hindu stuff. So it was like a easy thing for them to write and just show this. Yeah.
Right. And so as towards the end, I even Puro staying back with Rashid, I like this, like and I appreciate the fact that Rashid's feelings for Puro also very very, very intense and very pure in the sense that he didn't want anything out of it. They were just there. Very selfless. I would call it pure, it's a very cheesy word, I think. Selfless. Okay.
Selfless, but that is also something that we have already.
That's because of the guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So their relationship was always tainted with things which are out of their control, be it Rashid, be it Puru. And so towards the end, if you remember, Rashid distanced himself from the group because he just mixed up with the crowd. For him, it was a given that Puru will go. He didn't even wait to talk to her, convince her, anything. If it was for him, he didn't want to do it in the first place. And even after, he wanted to let her go, So at the end, when they kind of just get together, I know that Puru is not in love with him, but this sense of place, if you remember, the only reason that Puru gives is that I have stayed here long enough. This is my home now. And the fact that Ramchand says that she was already displaced from her home once. Why do you want to do it again?
Yeah.
The fact that Puru didn't stay there because she was in love with Rashid the way he was in love with her, she stayed because for Rashid, he signified home for her now, and I felt nice for Rashid's character because finally he kind of, got what I think he deserved that. So yeah, that.
Yeah, it's a good film, but things which doesn't fit for today's times. But of course, it is showing a particular era, so see it from that perspective. And it could have been a lot better, but still, it's a good film.
Do you think a film? So I have no doubt in the story. I don't have the doubt in the potential of the story, because it is. But do you think the story can be made into a film today?
Series. It has a lot of potential. Like they could take the novel rights and make a good.
Do you think it will be well received?
Of course, but due to the intolerance and tension between Hindu and Muslims, it will get a lot of political.
But people didn't receive it properly because I already mentioned that when I'm watching the film for some 2.5 hours, I was like, what the hell are you even doing? What the hell are you even doing? That's the only question I was thinking. That's the only question that rising in my mind. So people definitely have some problem with film. Yeah, and this is a good film, and this is a good period film, I would say. And there were some good performances from Urmila and Sunil Suri, and also Manoj Bajpayee to an extent. Yeah, if you haven't watched,
it's actually a bad performance from Manoj Bajpayee according to Manoj Bajpayee's standards.
Yeah,
it's actually a good performance for that film's.
Yeah, but he sets a great standard. Yeah. And
I'd just like to quickly put this one line out there that for me the credibility of the story is very uncompromised because Amrita Pritam was one of the people who was displaced because of partition. She was born in West Punjab now, which falls in Pakistan. So she was one of the people, and she has seen all this firsthand, right? So for me, the credibility of the story is uncompromised.
Yeah. Okay, and with that, we finish this discussion. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, guys.